Fox brought in a guest named Kimberly Clackick, who went to impoverished parts of West Baltimore and made videos of trashed lots and ruined row homes. Fox called her a Republican strategist. They've called her that for more than a year now. But there is no evidence that she's ever been employed by a campaign. She did run for a local county GOP position and lost last year.
Your response to that?
Yeah, so Brian, CNN. So I won my election. I actually serve right now in the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee, and I think we're doing an amazing job in Baltimore County. And I did work on 2 campaigns, but I volunteered. God forbid I didn't take pay. So I think he looked at it as, where was she on the payroll? You know, and to me, I look at it as, look, I'm doing something to help in my district. I volunteered my time.
Does CNN really want me to go through the list of all their guests who call themselves strategists, who either have failed repeatedly on campaigns or never strategized for anybody? I don't think they want to go there over at CNN. But Kimberly, the current mayor of Baltimore, you're right, is kind of trying to shift this story away from what's happening on the ground to this. Let's watch.
Instead of him using his bully pulpit to belittle minorities, politics have to be in it. We should be trying to make America great again, as he said, instead of turn America down racially, dividing this country.
What do you think? Is Trump trying to racially divide the country by bringing up these facts?
No. I think he retweeted what he saw because he wants something to be done, and he is the president. His citizens are living like this, and he wished that local officials would actually do their job. This is their job. This has been their job. They should be cleaning up this trash and not walking around talking about how racist our president is.
I think you should get more women to speak out. I don't care what their background politically. I don't care if they have any political concerns at all. Women are powerful, and there's no reason liberal women should dominate this conversation. So I'm really glad you're out there, and don't let anyone get you down. All right, great to have you on.
Thanks.
All right, of course, if there's a way to accuse anyone of racism for political gain, Al Sharpton will break the sound barrier to find a camera.
He attacks other whites, but he never said that their districts or their states are places that no human being wants to live.
Absurd. Trump's an equal opportunity critic.
At one point, President Trump talks about the drug problem coming from Mexico, telling Peña Nieto, quote, "I won New Hampshire because New Hampshire is a drug-infested den."
Well, New Hampshire, last time we checked, is about 93% white. Joining me now is Donte Hickman, pastor of the Southern Baptist Church in Baltimore. Pastor, you heard my conversation with Kimberly, who kicked this whole conversation off, really. Al Sharpton says he came to Baltimore to help defend the city today. And you say?
Well, I say it's time for all of us to put our attentions on the city of Baltimore and other urban communities like it that have experienced neglect for over 3 decades. And I think that America has the resources to accomplish this, and America should be ashamed of itself.
Well, I think we've spent, what, $6–7 trillion on the war on poverty over the last 4 or 5 decades. So we've spent a lot of money, no doubt about that, but the results aren't there. But what we've had over the last, 2 days now, 48 hours straight, is a drumbeat of racism. This is caused by racism. Trump's a racist. This is what the repeated drumbeat. But this has been going on in Baltimore, in L.A., in San Francisco, in St. Louis, in Detroit for decades. This is a decade-long, multi-decade-long problem, Pastor. And yet now it's only because Trump is a racist that you can't get your trash picked up? Really?
Absolutely. I don't believe that we can necessarily call President Trump a racist. I think I can say that some of his rhetoric is racially insensitive and very provocative. And I think we need to move beyond the rhetoric and the personalities and really look at the economic policies that have caused this neglect and what has taken place in our urban centers. I believe President Clinton could have done something about this, but he was focused on age-old policies from Robert Rubin. President Obama could have addressed and changed urban America, but he was focused on the age-old policies of Larry Summers. And George Bush could have addressed these issues, but he was focused on the war on poverty, or the war in other countries, where we spent more than $7.8 trillion in the last 18 years. There's a war going on in urban America that is really calling on President Trump and his administration, I believe, to now invest in an economic policy
well, he's
that
already
can
doing that with
change
opportunity
America.
Yeah, he's already doing that with opportunity zones. He steps up and he gets companies to commit big money in places like Chicago and so forth. It's kind of a chicken and an egg problem, Pastor, because hard to get companies to go in when it's dangerous.
On the issue of the opportunity zones, I believe it's a great start to incentivize private investors. But I've learned in our communities that private investment is just not enough. We have to get more public money to bear against up against the private money because we need something to complement it. Quite frankly, poor people in urban America cannot afford the private lending. They cannot afford to wait
Pastor,
for children to be able to eat, for affordable housing to come.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot there, but I want to talk about the political part of this, because without political will, it's not going to happen. You just listed Obama and Clinton. That's 16 years right there. Okay, they were the first black president, and then they called Clinton the first black president. Remember that column? So that was the imprimatur that both of them had. But I have a question for you about the focus of so many Democrats. The president's sticking his chin out here, and he's getting hit on this issue of urban decay. He's talking about it, though. I think that's really important. A lot of Democrats are focusing on what's happening at the border. And they're shouting at senators, what about the kids in the cage? Okay, I understand they care about that issue, but you have children in real distress in American cities. And there's not the sit-ins and the focus and the columns, and so it's easier to kind of focus on something far away from where you are and not focus on what's right underneath your own, in your own district. That's what the president, I think, in part was getting at. And I know you don't want to wade into the race thing, but I got to say that's an easy way to push the argument off to the side. Whatever you think the solution, I'll let you have the last word.
Quite frankly, I think all of it is a distraction. I think immigration policies have to be dealt with, but the real substratum of it all is poverty. And we have to get to a place where we're empathizing with people who are living in deplorable conditions, who are experiencing economic injustice and health disparities at an alarming rate in the wealthiest country in the world. And I believe this administration can enact policy through the Republican Senate and the Democratic House to make a change for the better and the trajectory of our children. I stand with the community, and I stand on behalf of the community, the voice of the least, the lost, and the left out, and we need to make a change in our economic policies to make that difference. You want to throw out the whole free market? I just got to figure this out. We're almost out of time, but you want to throw out the whole free market, because we are the envy of the world right now. This country is the envy. There's no other country in the world who's doing better economically. So I think we've got to look at what's happening in those cities that's not working. And I think in these cities, I focused in on Democrat leadership, because in the 5 worst cities are 5 Democrat mayors for decades. We got to look at that. What we need to take a look at, Laura, is modern monetary theory and reform. We have to get public money over private money.
Okay, Pastor, we appreciate it. Thank you for being here tonight. And coming up, why do Democrats refuse to accept any reality in the cities they run? Joy Behar is claiming that if you're black, you cannot be a racist. What does Candace Owens think about all that? She's here. Just a moment.
My experience with you